God, it was good, man.
What up, fam?
Chilling, man.
Yeah, blessed to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. I mean, it's only right, you know?
Nah, appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, how you been, though?
I'm just chilling, man. Just keeping it safe with this coronavirus, man. You know how it goes.
I hear you. I hear you, man.
It's making that heat, bro.
I know that. I know that, man. So yeah, let's get right into it, man. Everybody, welcome to episode 14 of Soul Chat. Um, got talented producer from Brooklyn. I mean, this guy's worked with Sauce Money, Styles P, Sheek Louch. Got a new joint out now with Papoose. Um, and even more than that, he's just a dope person. Very God oriented, which I can attest to. And yeah, he's a dope dude, man. Stan the man is in the building. What's good?
Yeah, what up, bro?
Yeah, man. So let's just get right into it from the beginning, man. Where did the love for music come?
Well, the music love come from I was a DJ. My uncle showed me how to DJ. I just was just DJing and probably be like, 92, I started producing.
Mm,
So I was like, if I could DJ and I can hear the music, I could definitely produce.
right. Yo, it's something about like DJing being such a easy transition because a lot of the people that I've had on here, that's what they say. They started off DJing. For you personally, like what about DJing that makes it so easy to transition into production?
I don't know, just when you're a DJ, you know what the fans want, and you know what they want to hear. So that's what made so easy about being a DJ, because you got to do the same thing. So why not become a producer as well? You could give the people what they want.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. You guys are there, spinning records and hearing exactly what they're getting down to. So you know exactly the type of vibe that they're going for when they. So that makes perfect sense. From DJing, what was it that switched your focus to production?
It's funny. Um, One of my idols, Pete Rock. I looked at an album cover one day. Um, it was the Main Ingredient album, and I saw like all this equipment, and I always admired Pete Rock for years, even when I was DJing. So I'm like, yo, I know I can do that. So he pushed really the battery in my back. It's him, Marley Marl, DJ Premier, Dr. Dre, all of them, DITC, all of them put the battery in my back to go start producing. So, definitely that Pete Rock album cover made me go into production. Shout out to Pete Rock.
Where shout out to the legend. But so when did you feel confident in your production to be like, you know what, this is what I want to focus on. This is what I'm putting my 100% into now.
Well, when I just started making beats, and everybody around the neighborhood was like, "Yo, you dope. Keep on doing what you're doing." Just like a lot of inspiration from all my friends, and just telling me to keep on going and keep on doing what you're doing. So that made me, do what I do best.
Right. So so you've gotten the neighborhood recognition, local recognition of being a dope producer, but now it's time to kind of get out there and make your name known. So what were some of the things that you were doing to kind of make your name known on the producer side of it?
I used to grind a lot. I used to go get up early in the morning, like, and back in the album covers, they tell you like all the labels had the address. I
Right.
would go I would go like mostly every day to these places, Bad Boy, Atlantic, Def Jam. They'll let you in. They can't do it no more, but back in the days when you was a producer, you could just go in there and ask for A&R. I used to go and ask for A&R and was like, yo, I'm a producer, just listen to my work. And people, a lot of A&Rs, listen to my work. But I was like, grinding a whole lot and just keep on going and just hit the spot.
Right. And shout out to everybody in the chat. If you have a question for Stan, please don't hesitate to put in the chat or the question box, and we'll definitely get it to him. So from there, what were other things that you were doing to kind of, because like you said, you were showcasing your beats and letting A&Rs hear it, but was anyone biting on it? Like if that didn't work, like what was the next plan to try to get heard?
I'm just, just grinding, just still grinding and still trying to, do what I got to do. People that was in the industry, I knew some people, and just keep on going. And that's what I was still doing.
Right. Okay. So when was the big break where it was like your first, like all that hard work paid off and you got your first placement?
My first placement was Source Money. I was Jay and them was having a Screechers watch and autograph signed in Brooklyn, Flatbush. So I went up there. I was like, yo, I'm gonna showcase my beats over there. So it's so funny. I said, let me go to the store and get something, get some gum. I don't want my breath stinking talking to them. And then I was in the car. I seen Source Money in the car, and I knew who he was because I knew him for years, a dope artist. And I just, introduced myself, and I was like, I'm a producer. I want, can you listen to my tracks? And he just said, come in the car and listen to my tracks, and he loved it.
Wow.
And as everything grew, we were just starting to grow. It wasn't like he accepted anything, so fast, but I was grinding hard, just sending him beats and everything like that until he was like, yo, I'm gonna get this one. And it was one joint, but then when he switched to another label, he asked me for more beats, and like one turned into 6 tracks on his album, Middle Finger You album.
Wow. That's crazy, man. So you were able to get that situation, but with a lot of producers, what I've noticed, especially I've gone through it myself, like we get that first major placement and we think like, all right, yo, this is time. Like everything's gonna start coming in now, because I got the one. Was that the case for you, or was it a period of like, all right, now, I still gotta grind like I didn't have any?
Yeah, to this day, I'll be like that. You just still gotta, and all producers, you still gotta grind. Not to say like, I made it and stuff like that. You still gotta grind like you had your first placement. So that was still grinding after Source Money and still, getting people to know people and stuff like that and grinding. I took a hiatus for a while and I came back on the scene and just started, doing what I gotta do. 2014, just grinding, and got my first placement from a guy named BK Cavalli. He's Russell Simmons' son, and me and him just did a track and still grinding, and Instagram, still hustling, still doing what I'm doing, and still just keeping myself, elevated, and saying that because I got one placement doesn't mean, you still got to grind and keep on doing what you got to do. Like you don't have no placements.
Right.
Sorry about that, bro. Trying to hold on for 1 second.
Yeah.
I gotta put this car on. I don't know, the light just went off. Gotcha, bro. Sorry, man.
Good. You good? But yeah, to speak to that, it's like, for every producer that's in here, for what Stan said is definitely correct. Like just because you get that first one, don't mean that everything is just easy street now. If anything, it's harder now because it's just like NFL players in the Super Bowl. Like they get there the one time, and a lot of people feel like, oh, they're supposed to get there every year now. It don't work like that. You still gotta grind, still gotta practice, still gotta put yourself out there, and other opportunities will come from it afterwards. So thank you for that, because that's something that, especially younger generation, they get the first one, they think that's how it's supposed to be, but they don't realize that they're supposed to keep putting in the work. So how did the situation with you and Papoose come about?
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, cool. I'm in the car, so I'm just trying to get all this Bluetooth thing off. But yeah, you still got to grind. You still got to keep on going and keep on doing what you got to do in this industry. Because it's not easy, but it's not hard at the same time. It's all about you networking, especially a lot of my placements I got on really just grinding on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah, just keeping myself elevated on Instagram and just DMing, rappers and saying, yo, listen, I'm a producer. Where can I send, my tracks to your email? And some people answer, some people don't. But, you always got to take that shot because you never know.
Right. And you were like you said, you first got in touch with Source Money from the Streets is Watching days. So you saw both sides of it. You seen the come up of social media, but you also saw the grind of having to go to each record label, speak to the A&R, actually make the trip instead of like just sending a DM. Um, this is a two-part question. What are the advantages nowadays that you see from being on social media and being able to talk to the person directly instead of having to go, on a whim, being able to speak to someone? And part two, um, which era would you prefer to to grind in? Because there's social media is easy. You send a text, hopefully you send a DM, hopefully they get back, and you just start conversation that way. But there's something more, I would say, authentic about taking a grind, going, meeting these people where they're at, and really forming a relationship that you need to form. So if you could ask, the first one is, what are the advantages of social media nowadays in terms of like networking and everything, and which era would you prefer to grind in?
Well, like you were saying, I rather, in my opinion, go to the artist than just being on the social media. But we don't have no choice right now, you
Right,
know. So I'd rather just do a hands-on hands with the artist and just see their expressions and then just not sending out beats in the email. I mean, what choice do we have right now? We don't have that much of a choice,
right,
I like going in the studio, like cats listen to beats. I don't like this, but like I said, we don't have no choice. But in the era of that, I like the I like the '90s era when you was hand on hand with the artist. You was in the studio making the magic happen with the artist, then just sending out the beat and wondering, like, you're gonna get the track and you're gonna hear the track, but you want to see the expression. This is where the opportunity of you doing something with Nas. You want that experience of going in the studio with Nas, seeing him write, seeing him, create that magic, as well as, you creating your magic in the studio. Then not just sending a beat and say, well, let you listen to it and send it back. No, I like that. I want the experience more than anything.
right. So who, in your opinion, is your, like, your personal favorite? Like, you have quite a few placements. Um, which one would you say is like the one that I guess means the most to you?
Means the most to me is Source Money,
Right.
because I was there hands on hands with him. Anytime that he did a session, I was in the studio doing the session. So it was like, it wasn't no emails, it wasn't nothing. We was just going in the studio and just creating that magic. So that meant so much to me because I saw him just creating all that magic. And like I said, that's why I was just saying, like, you just want the hands on hands with the relationship with an artist. That's it's not like that no more. Some is, and like really like the percentage of it, it's like probably about like 80% that people just send out beats.
Right.
And so it's just sad. Like I said, we always talk about it. Me and a couple of producers always talking about an artist and a producer's relationship. We got to get that back.
Exactly. Because it feels like there's a divide too. At the same time, the artists feel like they're the most important person on the track, which, it's a hand in hand relationship. There's no one person more important than the other. It takes everyone to make to make the track, to make the magic, like you said. It takes a producer with the beat, the artist with the lyrics, and it seems like there's kind of a competition for recognition, when it comes to that. Um, and like you said, we need to get back to having our good relationship the way it was before, where it's nothing to shout out to give credit to the producer while you rapping on the track. It's nothing for the producer to say, yo, the artist took what I did and made and turned it into a classic,
Exactly, because you know what? Producers, we definitely got to get our credit, man. I mean, listen, we don't want to make the beat. I'm not taking away from the artist, but you know what? If you ain't got no beat, then what? You gonna rap off an acapella?
Right.
So, we got to get that, that artist and producers relationship back. I really wish that could happen because I love to be in the studio. I mean, me and my boy Innocent, we always be in the studio together. So we always in the studio like Batman and Robin. So that's another person that, I get definitely me and him get, say in the studio and get down and do what we got to do. So like I said, artists, y'all got to just let the producer in, man.
Exactly. So speaking to what you were talking about before with we have to get back to being in the studio with the artist and instead of just sending beats over. It's kind of weird because like it looks so like, all right, so J. Cole and his label, they did when they did the
The
when they
Dreamville thing.
Dreamville, when they did that and they were sending out special flyers on Instagram, special posts on Instagram, like Illmind, you've been invited to come and DJ Premier and whoever and the who's of producers and artists.
I wish I had that that invitation.
Exactly. But it was received as such a weird thing to have like people actually come to the studio. But that, like you said, in the 90s, that was the norm, So I agree with you on that point. We definitely need to get back into the studio session and building that rapport. Speaking of that, can you speak on being in the studio, like producer etiquette in the studio? Because a lot, especially younger producers, they feel like if they go in there, they're just playing beats and they're waiting for the artist to pick something. But every producer who's had legendary status talks about the first time they meet an artist for a session, they don't even play music. They just sit there, they talk, they vibe, they chill. They probably don't get into the music until like the second or third day of being in the studio with them. Can you talk about your personal experience and like how do you feel about that?
Well, you know what? Like I said, when the music, like I'm gonna give you an example, like Source Money. Me and Source Money, we vibed. He would come to my house, play the tracks, and see which one he wanted. We would vibe for a couple of days, man. And then we'll go in the studio, he'll go, we'll take our time with the track. And, like I said, I was experienced a whole lot. We have 12-hour sessions, man. That was a beautiful feeling to have 12-hour sessions. And look, I didn't want to leave to go out and leave out the studio. It's just a whole magic moment, man, when you got the big connection with the artist and the producer. A lot of things could happen just as well. Premier and Guru. They always had, the meeting of the minds definitely in the studio. So once you have a situation with an artist relationship, the music will sound better. Just as well, you have Hit Boy and Benny did that album together. So he been in the studio. He wasn't sitting out tracks like Benny said. He would just go in there and have the session with Hit Boy. So that's how all that magic came out. And it comes out more dope when you're there.
Right. Definite. I can attest to that. I know a lot of other producers that are in here. Shout out to Bueno, Max Keen. They could definitely attest to that. So you've made beats with people like Sauce Money back in the 90s, and you've seen the transition of music, transition of production over the 2000s, the 2010s, and to where it is now. It kind of feels like we reached the low point, and now there's starting to be a resurgence of that 90s sound with a twist. You know, there's a lot of producers out like, you know, Soundtrack and Landscape and Theory and Bueno and Max and all these dudes that are doing like the Ski Beat Challenge and Battle Ave and you listen to Overlord Radio, and like all these producers are making that sound again. And yourself as well. So what was there, because you're from what I've heard, your sound has never really changed as far as like going into like the trap sound. What is it that's like, was it hard to stay true to what you do in that era where it was like a lot of where music was changing?
Well, you know what? A lot of producers have their own lane. And I don't knock them, but I just thought I want to stay in my own lane because I have to be true to myself.
Right.
And a lot of people love what I'm doing. So why change? But, you know, go with the sound that I am adjusted to. And plus, like I said, I'm a 70s baby. So hip hop is like, boom. You never seen Pete Rock, DJ Premier. You haven't seen, you know, Easy Mo B, Havoc. You never seen like all of those producers switch. And, you know, that makes me feel so happy, you know, so happy in Showbiz, from DITC, Buck Wild, all of them, they haven't never changed. So why should I change, you know, just to keep up with the times? Like I said, everybody has their own lane, and I'm going to stick with my own lane.
Right. You got to stay true to yourself.
Exactly.
So other than Sauce Money, what was some of the, like, some of the dopest memories you have being in a session with an artist?
Well, I was in a session. I mean, mostly I be in a session with my boy Innocent a whole lot. You know, it was one session that we did with Sadat X. And it was a many sessions that me and Innocent did. One session that blew my mind was with Sean Price.
Shout out.
Yeah, rest in peace to him, man. So just to see him work and see Sadat X and see, you know, a lot of these artists that we have, even Tech from Smith and Wesson, seeing him, you know, in the studio is all magic, because I grew up with these guys and I loved them. So it's great moments. I had a lot of great moments, and I'm definitely blessed by that.
Right. And to follow up on that, like how does that feel to like study artists, like feeling artists, loving artists, and you know, putting them up on that pedestal, and then being able to work? How is it able to see them kind of do their thing, and and it's like, yo, I went from listening to these dudes and now I'm in the studio with them. I'm looking at their process.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a blessing just to see these guys and to interact with these guys and to talk to these guys. You know, Smith and Wesson for years. I love these guys, and then just to see Tech in the studio, and you know, just to talk to him and everything, and we became friends. It's a big blessing, man.
That's what's up, man. For real, because it's definitely different when you're able to like know artists that you've like, you know, low-key admired, and like, you know, them on like a personal level. Now it just makes it even that much doper. When I first met you, I think it was at DITC Beats Per Minute.
Yep, got the shirt right here, bro. Had to wear my shirt. shout out to Showbiz and Drawzilla, you know, for creating that whole movement, man. And yo, I wish they had that again, man.
Yep, yo, it's definitely a special time, man. Just from I know, because you've been at a few of them. What about that energy was different? You know, I know for me personally, but I like to hear from other people too.
Now that energy was crazy. You'll go. This is what the whole situation was. You'll go in. You had like Lord Finesse, Buck Wild. You had a lot of legendary producers that was there before this whole, before everything started. They would still kick it to you and teach you about the game. I learned a lot of lessons in DITC, man. It was just amazing, and then it comes showtime, everybody with their beats, and hearing those beats on them big ass speakers,
Right.
my God, that was like the ultimate.
Word. And then like you sitting there playing beats for Lord Finesse, for Buck Wild, for Show, for OC, for if they brought it for Georgezilla, they brought a special guest, and like they had Static Selector there. They had Vinny Idol there. They had Amadeus.
Man, they had the bomb squad in there. They had the bomb squad in there when I was there, right?
Right.
And that night was so magical because that's the first time I met Premier. I was floored to meet my idol that day. And to meet, the bomb squad is my idols too. They have done so much. And to really get the lessons, because they had a lesson for like an hour. I taped it. It had like an hour lesson to all producers that was so educated. I came out there really educated, man, from all those brothers.
For real. Shout out Landscape in the room, man. Shout out to you, man. Semifinals for Ski Beat Smackback.
Yeah, man. Congrats.
Yeah, like I remember one time I went and there was Pete Rock was a special guest, and he literally sat us down for like an hour and gave us like a crash course, like any question we had before he even started playing his beats, because his beats was going on for like an hour, like so. But he literally sat down for like an hour and answered everybody's question. And it's like him having his back and forth with Lord Finesse, and you just picking up, like, you're not saying, just sitting there just picking up gems, like, all right, I'm gonna store that one, I'm gonna store that one, and it's like it was special. It was special.
Yeah, some producers don't do that. They don't go and say, well, let me just teach these guys, anything. But like I said, DITC, beats per minute, that was like school is in session, bro. And I was very honored and blessed to meet all of them and talk to Showbiz and talk to Lord Finesse. They know my name, and it's a blessing. These guys that you idolize for years, and
Right.
meet them and they love your music. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I think probably about give and take last week. At the Papoose joint came out, and I get a DM, and it was Pete Rock. He was like, "You did something on Papoose album?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And I was like, he said, "Which one?" And I said, "Say No More." And he was like, "Wow." And we got to start to talking for a while, man. And I was very floored and honored because one of my idols, we was talking, and it was a great talk on DM, man. And I definitely was so happy and uplifted, and by Pete Rock.
Right.
It gets no better than that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out
Right.
to Pete Rock, man. Definitely God bless him. And like I said, he never changed his sound. He's still going with it. And it's a big blessing for hearing him to just give me credit to say, yo, your shit is dope.
Right.
Can't get no realer than that.
It can't, man. It's that's a feeling that never ever gets old. It's
Yeah,
like,
man. Lord Finesse and DJ Premier mentioned me on a live one day, and I wish I could have had the tape in. I just heard it. I was floored when I heard that. I was like, oh my God. I was, when you're being respected by people that you idolize for years, that's a big blessing, man. And that's like what I'm saying, Muhammad, like Mike Tyson getting praised by Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like yo, keep up the good work and keep doing what you're doing. That's like you on top of the world after that.
Yeah, that's stamp of approval. You know,
Exactly.
it's like, yo, I'm doing something right. I got the people that I idolize telling me I'm dope. Like, you know, it don't get no better than that. You know,
Yeah, I don't know, man.
a lot of people in the game for like the money, and of course, Shannon, because it's a business. But at the same time, the respect goes so much further. You know, and to be respected by people that literally are influencers for making music, like it don't get better than that at all.
Exactly. It's a big blessing, man.
So what so if you can speak on what are some things that you have uh lined up as a
Well, as of in the future,
yeah,
still working on doing some stuff with Papoose because you know he's coming out every month with a EP. Still, you know, doing some stuff with him. I got this mixtape coming out with DJ Unknown from Buffalo called Rise of an Empire. That's coming soon with like 13 or 15 rappers, and it's strictly hip hop. I produced the whole mixtape, and it's gonna be a dope mixtape. Look out for that. And I got a project with my boy Innocent called Seven. That's coming out. And my boy Flash, I got some a joint with him coming out. And I'm just keep on grinding and keep on doing what I'm doing, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all artists that chose any music from me. I definitely appreciate it because they didn't have to choose it, you know, and I'm very honored and very blessed by anybody that chose any music from me and rock it and do what they got to do and mention me on Instagram. You know, shout out to everybody that mentions me, giving me push, you know. I'm very happy, man. Shout out definitely to you as well. You keep on going and doing what you're doing, man. You know,
for real, appreciate that, man. Um, yo, so what was the question I had for you just now? Because I just thought of it. Oh, um, oh, is there of all the artists that you worked with, who is still like a bucket list for you?
well, the artists I haven't worked with,
Of artists you haven't, yeah.
oh man, Griselda. Oh, and plus, speaking of Griselda, I'm sorry, I got a joint with Ricky Hyde coming out on his album Plates too. That's another thing.
Nice, man.
Yeah, Black Sopranos. Definitely shout out to Ricky Hyde. But as of the Benny and West Side Gun and Conway, definitely on my bucket list.
Right.
Definitely Nas, Hove, the whole Wu-Tang Clan. Um, definitely I had this on my bucket list, and I feel so bad, man. I always talk about this. You know, DMX was on my bucket list for years. No, shout out to X. Rest in peace, X.
Right. And rest in peace, Black Rob.
Black Rob as well. I got an unreleased joint from Black Rob that I did.
Really?
Yeah, with Source Money. We have a joint that I was listening to like 2 days ago when Black Rob was sick, and I had an unreleased joint with Source Money featuring Black Rob.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace to those two soldiers, man. It's you know, it's a big blow, man. Especially work. I really wanted to work with DMX badly, man, and I know he have it, man. My man chopped some beats. Shout out to Flash. He let DMX hit some joints for his new album, and you know, DMX he liked some of them, but you know, it wasn't, you know, just big decisions, you know, but you know, he knew who I was. So that was, you know, a big thing, you know, still.
That's
But
what's up.
I have a lot of joints on my bucket list. It just the list goes on and on. But hey, whoever want to work, we can work. I don't care, man. I love working with any artist, you know, and anything like that. I'm a big fan of everybody that's about about their business.
Right. That's what's up, man. Yo, so now we're getting into the staple of the show. This is called this segment's called Over Under.
I love this part.
30 questions. And you know, we've had some controversial answers to the questions, but it's gonna be fun. So question number one, in your personal opinion, overrated and underrated for producer, in your opinion, who's the most overrated producer of all time to you? And who's the most underrated producer of all time?
The overrated was the I think his name is Lex Luger. Luger, the one who did
Like Luger.
yeah, he was,
Yeah,
yeah, he's definitely, I mean, shout out to him still banging those tracks with Ross, but still.
right.
And the underrated, he gets love, but you know what? He should get more love, man. High Tech, man.
For real.
Yo, man, he is dope, man. He should be getting more credit than what he deserved, bro.
Way more. Way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, definite. Nah, I definitely agree. Lex Luger is he's I mean he's got hits, he's got placements, so I'm not knocking him, but
Yeah, I'm not knocking him either, but he's you know how it goes.
definitely High Tech, he deserves more praise than he's getting, man. For real.
Yeah, he deserves a lot of flowers, man.
For real, for real. All right, so question number 2, the most overrated beat you've ever heard and the most underrated beat you've ever heard.
Damn, oh man, I'm trying to think. Overrated. Damn, I'm thinking it's I'm trying to really actually think the overrated. It it was a joint that I heard on what album was that? I think it was Ghostface. It was RZA did a track. I forgot. It was just like a record being scratched. And I was like, what the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? That I forgot what the song is called, but it was definitely overrated.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and underrated, it my all-time favorite, well, it's not underrated, but I'm trying to think. My underrated track. It's a High Tech joint too. It's a joint on Game album that he did.
Okay.
That I forgot what that joint, but that joint was crazy.
Right. I mean, it goes in line with the first one. High Tech's underrated producer. He's got the underrated beat.
Nah,
So,
he's dope, man. He's dope, man. Like I said, he don't get his flowers like what he's supposed to, man.
for real. Nah, that's wild. So last one is, which artist producer collaboration did you hear that you thought was gonna be really dope, but it turned out to not be so great to you? And which collaboration did you hear that you thought was gonna be kind of whack, but it ended up being dope to you?
Well, Nas and Kanye West was the one I thought it was going to be dope, but it wasn't, man. I was really, really disappointed. I was like, come on, man. I'm like, yo, why?
Right.
It was crazy, But the one that I thought that was going to be garbage, but it was dope. Damn, man. I don't really actually know. I'm trying to actually think. It's damn it. It's not what I think it is. That wasn't what I'm thinking. Trying to really actually think. I'm. You know who joined? I thought it was gonna be kind of. It wasn't, but I heard it and it was crazy. The joint that Rick Ross and Skrilla did.
Right.
Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I was like, that was kind of like odd. But when I heard it and the changes on it, I was like, damn. B
Right.
Billionaire did it as well with him. So I was like, holy shit, this shit is crazy.
For real, not for real. And PhD, you're right. There's definitely disappointment. So here's a question I have before I get into the last segment. What artist producer collaboration that you haven't heard yet would you be really hyped for?
Let me see. That's crazy. That I haven't heard yet. I would love to hear. It's so funny. I would love to hear one beat from Dre with Griselda.
From Dre, you said?
Yeah, from Dr. Dre.
Dre and Griselda would be crazy.
I would love to see, yo, it would be monstrous.
Dre and Griselda would be wild. Yeah, that's it. That would be dope as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So now we're getting into this last segment, which is the fantasy round. So, you're in the studio, right? This is your perfect studio session. Who's the rapper? Who's singing on the hook? Who's producing the record? Who's engineering the record? And what label is it coming out on?
All right. Can I put two artists?
You can put
two rappers.
You can put as many artists as you want. Amadeus had basically every artist in the industry on one track.
I'm just gonna put two artists, but they not alive though. I would put DMX and Biggie on one track.
Dope.
Me and Dre produce it.
Collab production. There you go. That's the first time we heard that on here.
Young Guru engineering it. And let it come out on Empire.
Nice. Biggie and DMX, produced by Stan the Man and Dre, engineered by Guru, and it comes out on Empire Records. Yeah,
Empire. They definitely do what they got to do for their artists. So I know they'll push that crazy.
Right. And yeah, I mean, it's just only right. It's got two of the biggest rappers in New York. You know, so
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So I mean, that was probably one of the best ones we've had. You know, that's special right there.
Yeah, that would be a crazy moment, man. Just to, yo, them dudes, man. You know, X and Big. It's just, you know, it's so magical with these guys, man. They're legends, man, on their own, man. And just to hit them, you know, for their music and stuff like that, I'm really hurt. You know what I'm saying? That they're not here.
Right.
And just really is shocking just to know that DMX is gone. I'm still putting it in my head, but it's like, wow, you gone. And it's like it's a crazy moment, man. So I really wanted to work with that man. And that's with Biggie too. I really wanted to work with him as well. I mean, I knew Biggie. You know, I know the whole Junior Mafia. So it was like I really wanted to work with Big.
That's wild, man. That's just like it sucks when like all the people that you've grown up like love, like me personally, like these are like, you know, my generation that got me into being the person I am now as far as like my interest goes, and they're starting to just fall by the wayside. Like,
and DMX, listen,
you know,
DMX saved. Listen, when Puff had all that shiny suit stuff and all that dance music out, Puff, DMX just came down and ripped the doors from all that gritty shit, man. And that's what we needed. No, right. Shout out, you know, not putting nothing, you know, down on Puff, but you know what? We needed some of that gritty music because it was going, you know, it's pushing back somewhere else. And X just came and just pushed the door down for all that gritty shit. You know, definitely rest in peace to X and his family, man. Hold your head, you know, and yeah, I guess I'll be making tracks with them when I'm in heaven, man.
There you go. but to kind of like pick a little bit off of what you just said, 24 Hours to Live was one of my favorite, for real. Just because that was on there, like that was
Zach Rob and X was on there. That's what's so crazy about it.
Yeah, right. That's wild, man. But to pick off of what you just said, Diddy and the whole Bad Boy movement, it was kind of a parallel to right now, because they were bringing hip hop to the forefront.
And not to cut you off, I'm sorry not to cut you off.
Nah, go
That's
ahead.
another team. The Hitmen is a definitely underrated team because they don't get their flowers either.
Right.
Nasheem and D'Angeletti, all of them don't get their flowers, man. Stevie J, who else? Ken Lawrence, what's his name? Lawrence,
Right.
Coptic. A lot of them didn't get their flowers, man. Hitman was a dope ass team, man. They're definitely underrated.
Yeah, I mean, everything that they did turned to gold,
Yeah, shit.
literally. But that instance was kind of like a glimpse, a precursor to what's going on now, because they really put, as far as like number ones and billboards and all that stuff, the flashy, like kind of not gritty, shiny suit era hip hop was number one, number one, number one, and then there was like a void of like the real, what people consider to be the real hip. And then, like you said, that's when X came in and kind of brought it back to that grittiness that we kind of fell in love with. It's kind of the same thing now.
It's happening now.
Yeah,
Respect to Griselda, and they the ones who kicked down the doors again for all that gritty shit. Shout out to Derringer too. It's another dope ass
right,
producer. So I'm very happy because it's like, wow, I still can do my hip hop, my hard music, and people accept it more now than ever.
right. And do you feel like there was a changing of the guard back then too? Because like there was, like you had Diddy sampling, all the records back then, but then it wasn't sounding like that raw. So can you, if you can you speak to that as well, like that sound, how it was back then as far as producing goes, was like producers like the Pete Rocks of the world, the Primos of the world, that wasn't, their sound wasn't the mainstream sound anymore.
Yeah, they still got love, but it wasn't really noticed so much. And that really pissed me off. Like, I understand, don't get me wrong. Like I said, everybody has their lane. But don't ignore the fact that what started this music was hip hop.
Right.
Yeah, it's that's what the whole situation is. Hip hop started. You know what I'm saying? That's what started it. So don't never ignore hip hop and thinking that hip hop ain't shit. Hip hop is always gonna be here, and that culture is always gonna be here to stay.
That's fact. And it's so weird because now, like nowadays, producers, when they're trying to work on music, you go to these showcases and beat battles, and you have people, and the first thing they say is, you know, for for people that sample, it's, you're not gonna make no money with that, or that's, instead of kind of like judging the beat itself, the first thing I tell you is that, the sample's not gonna get cleared, you're not gonna make any bread off that. Like, have you ever like gotten that type of
The
heat?
vibe before?
Yeah,
No, not really. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never got no vibe from that. Like I said, everybody has their lane. I will never tell nobody don't sample or don't do it. Whatever works for you, you just do what you gotta do. Everybody, like I said, it's different kind of producers. Whatever works for you, you just do it.
it's fact.
And sampling always will be here because the first sample was Rapper's Delight from Good Times.
Right.
So sampling will always be here to the day we die, man. You can never take no credit out of that. Because I hear a lot of people, a lot of producers, a lot of people is like, oh, people looping beats and that ain't being a producer and this and that. I'm like, come on, man. You could take your own sample and chop it up to many pieces and make a different track about it. That's pure Picasso.
Right. Because I know me personally, like I've gone to these I standards, and back when they were doing showcases, and like all these different places, and that would literally be the first thing one of the judges would tell me, like, oh, it's dope, but it's not gonna get cleared.
Wow. One of the judges told me when I was in the I standard, take the old hip hop sound and put it into the new era. I was like, huh? I was kind of confused there. I was like, nah. Listen, I don't mind hearing the opinions, but you know what? Whatever works for me, it works for me, man. I listen. The hip hop I'm doing I got a lot of placements, and I'm blessed by God by it. So
Right.
I'm gonna keep on continuing doing what I'm doing. I mean, everybody always have their opinions, but you know, you gotta be true to yourself.
That's that's for damn sure. That is for sure. Well, yo, Stan, much appreciation for you, man, for coming on and chatting it up with me.
Man, it's an honor, brother. I'm very happy that you include me in this, man, because us producers gotta unite and stick together, you know what I'm saying, and be, with each other. We're not all against each other, especially being a producer, man. It's about helping everybody, man.
Right.
Seriously, that's what it's all about. That's in my opinion. I don't know about anybody else's opinion, but that we all gotta have a producers united, man.
Right. Definitely. And I mean, like, I was speaking with Maestro one day, and he was saying like they didn't like you. We all know each other,
Exactly.
and that's he said that's the biggest difference between his generation and our generation of producers is the fact that y'all all know each other. Y'all all, and more than just like in passing, like you guys are listening to each other's beats. Like shout out to Session In, like they have a joint Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, where it's everybody just getting on a Zoom and just playing beats. You know, shout
No, and
out to Folklore Radio because they do this.
and DITC, like I said, Drawzilla, I'll definitely give him a lot of credit because he included me in a lot of stuff.
Right,
And you know what? I've met a lot of producers, man, that we are good friends. We talk on Instagram, and I'm very happy. And producers that I seen on DITC that was like, starting off and rised up. I'm very happy for him, man. I'm very happy for any producer that's doing what they got to do, man. And like I said, everybody never be selfish, man. Always congratulate, man, and always push.
yep. I mean that's it. I mean, we're all there's enough out there for everybody. You
Exactly.
just gotta keep doing you. Don't get mad at the next person. Congratulate the next person.
Exactly.
You know, it's we're all a community. We all enjoy the same things. You know what I mean? Like we all get hyped for the same stuff. We
Yeah, man.
see a Smack Pack volume 8 come out, and we're all jumping in to try to create something. We see we hear a sample, like we all jump on a sample to try to create something. We all know the grind.
And
So
that's a great thing. And it's a great thing because we got to keep it going. We got to have a producer's magazine. Scratch was one of my favorite magazines. My
real,
God, man, I wish these guys would ever still come back out. So I always wanted to be in that magazine as well.
yeah. I mean, it's so many things that like have brought us together and then just stopped because
Yeah.
for whatever reason. But I'm very happy that like the producers that I know now and like we root for each other like real for real.
Exactly, and I always root for everybody. Especially you just always see me at these beat battles and beat showcases. I root for all of them. I be standing up, going crazy, man, because it's a great thing to hear beats and hear everything. It makes me want to go after it's over to go and make some more beats. It gives me a lot of big, you know what I'm saying, push and inspiration to go and do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like I said, I feed off of all the producers, and you know what I'm saying. I'm very happy for a lot of producers, like I said, that was been in the DITC.
Right.
That's doing a thing right now.
Right. I mean, iron sharpens iron, man.
Yeah.
Exactly it. Well, yo, Stan, thank you so much for coming on and
Thank you, man.
your journey, sharing your knowledge. Like I just want to give you your flowers too because you're probably one of the most positive people that I know. And just off of watching your social media, like every morning there's a inspirational quote, or inspirational message.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like I see it and it's like that's Stan doing his thing. And sometimes I'm like, I needed that. So
Yeah, and you know, we are definitely blessed by God to wake up, man, because we ain't gotta wake up, man. God could just say, you know what, turn off the lights on us. But I always wake up and always, you know what I'm saying, you know, I'm family orientated, man. My wife and my son and my daughter, they always with God, and we definitely a godly family. So why not share that love on Instagram every time? I don't put no post until I put that godly post up there. I don't care what it is. So just to give people, because sometimes in the morning people need that.
right.
You know, you might be having a bad morning, so you might just. I get messages like, "Yo, thank you for that, you know, prayer. Thank you for that, you know, inspiration." So that makes me feel good.
Yeah, I mean, I could personally tell you right now that it's helped me out quite a few times.
And that's good, man. And if I did something right, then I'm happy. God has gave me to say, do what you got to do, and that's it. So I'm happy that if it helps everybody out.
That's what's up, man. So, yo, this has been episode 14 of Soul Chat. My brother Stan the man. Thank you again for coming on and sharing your knowledge and giving me the opportunity to like give you your flowers and shout you out and just chop it up.
Man,
Um,
you got your flowers too, brother, man. You a dope ass producer, man. You getting your flowers too as well, man. And God bless you on everything you do, man. And being on this soul chat, it's a great thing.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Yo, so we're out, but producer night isn't over. We got Overlord Radio coming up in a few minutes. I believe they're on Twitch now, but they may be on IG Live. I'm not exactly sure when the switch happens, but definitely check them out. They start at 9 p.m. Eastern. So everybody in here, if you want to hear some dope beats, surprise guests, because you know last week they surprised everybody by interviewing Bink.
Oh
Um,
wow, I missed that.
yeah, it's dope. It was a dope night. He came. He after the interview, in the he was in the room. He was giving critiques. It was it
That's
was
dope.
it was a
I,
dope.
I know that they got the replay, so I'm gonna definitely check it out. Shout out to them, man. They definitely doing their thing, and it's a great thing. And like I said, if you have outlet for producers, man, why just do it, man? It's a great thing, bro.
Exactly, man. So yo, this has been episode 14 of Soul Chat, and we are out. Peace.
Peace.